right. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Mic has gone up. Okay, everything looks good. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You gonna say hello to everybody, Kiwi? No? Okay. I suppose that works. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? I am glad to be watching, or actually live when I'm supposed to be live currently. So, let's see if will this work? I'm trying something new. I apologize. Okay, turn that down. All right. Will this work? And if I move this window... Oh, hey, yes, it will work. I won't have to use my phone to read comments anymore. Okie dokie. Yay. Hope you are all doing well. Yesterday had a bit of a scare. I went to post my video, and while I was watching it to make sure the video I was posting was the right one, I realized there was no audio. So that's why I went live at about 8 o'clock yesterday morning, before my orders event yesterday. But now here I am. I'm not seeing any comments, and you can't hear me, and my microphone level meter is bouncing up and down. So hooray! I'm here when I'm supposed to be, and I'm live. So, and Kiwi has joined me. Haven't you, Kiwi? You don't care. Okay. Well, I hope you are all doing well. Let's see what the weather has in store for us today. Whoa! Here we go. It is currently 41 degrees in the great metropolis of Brandon, Iowa. It feels like 40 because, again, that 1 degree makes all the difference. And it feels like 40 if you're in the shade because it's pretty cloudy out there. So there's really no difference between the two. Air quality is excellent. See what the rest of the day. High today is 54. Tonight might have some rains, maybe even a thunderstorm. Low of 46. So a little bit warmer than it's been the past couple days. Let's go up here to our week. Tomorrow, high of 67, with some thunderstorms possible in the morning, and then some back to the mid 40s, and then down a little bit. So just looks like, the battle between summer and fall will end tomorrow. So one final decent day, it looks like, until the fall begins its slow decline into winter. Whoa. That's not the screen I wanted. That's the screen I wanted. Okay. Get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. So I hope you are all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Just a reminder, during this month of October, we are dealing with the issue of fear and what it does to us, how we can respond to it, and what it requires of us. Oh, and that went out loud. Oh, again, sorry for the technical things. I'm trying new things, and I'm not sure how all it's gonna come together. So you're part of my guinea pigs. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you all lucky? Well, as I said, we're dealing with the issue of fear. And our devotional during this time of fear is from Adam Hamilton's Living Unafraid. Reverend Adam Hamilton is the senior pastor of the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection, based in the Kansas City area. And that takes our devotional. Our Sunday worship services are focusing also on fear, and that'll continue throughout the month of October. November will be a fairly lectionary-based worship and devotional time. And then starting with Advent, we will launch our Bible study, our Advent Zoom Bible study, and our It's a Wonderful Life devotional. But for today, I am reading from day 11 from Living Unafraid, which is titled, Whom shall I fear? The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27, verse 1. Take a Bible and open it to the very center. Unless your Bible has an extensive notes and maps in the back, you'll find yourself somewhere in the book of Psalms. I've always found this a helpful metaphor. At the heart of the Bible is a book that expresses the heart of God's people as they sing and pray during the various seasons of life. Some psalms are exclamations of praise written when something wonderful had just happened. But there are other seasons in life when exuberance is far from our hearts, seasons of opposition or adversity, times of hopelessness or despair. In these moments, we might be more inclined to cry out to God for help or to express our frustration and doubt. Consider Psalm 13. How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? Or the opening words of Psalm 22, which Jesus himself prayed from the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? These psalms are often called psalms of lament, if I could learn how to read, or simply complaint psalms. I'm grateful that these prayers were included in the Bible. They are honest and gritty. They might even make us cringe a bit at their frank expressions of hurt and the longing for God to exact vengeance on the author's enemies. Like Psalm 137, verse 9, which says to the Babylonians who destroyed Jerusalem and took the Jewish people captive, "Happy is the one who seizes your infants and dashes them against the rocks." These verses express not the heart of God, but the heart of people who have been hurt. And while a prayer asking God to destroy the psalmist's enemies is occasionally found, what these psalms most often include are words that reaffirm a trust and confidence in God's ability to deliver the psalmist. Even when a psalm begins with a complaint, it nearly always ends with an affirmation, a reminder of what God has done to deliver the psalmist in the past or can do in the future to rescue the author from harm. Psalm 13, which begins, as noted earlier, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever?" ends with this powerful prayer. "But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me." The overarching message of the book of Psalms are these expressions of confidence and hope, like the opening words of this day's reading from Psalm 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Peter Böhler, an 18th century Moravian missionary, once famously told the struggling John Wesley, "Preach faith till you have it, and then, because you have it, you will preach faith." Something important happens in our hearts when we speak aloud our trust in God. In some sense, this is what the psalmists were doing, singing about their trust in God until it eventually settled in their hearts. This is still true for us today. Every day I try to read and pray at least one psalm. I say its words aloud, then choose one or two verses to focus on and repeat in prayer. Some psalms speak deeply to me. In others, I have to work to find a verse or two that resonate. But more often than not, there will be a phrase or two, sometimes more, that are exactly what my soul needs to hear in that moment. These are but two examples of verses I prayed recently. Take a moment and pray them aloud, not once, but several times, slowly speaking these words until their meaning moves from your lips to your heart. And we'll get to that at the end. The Psalms have power. The Psalms are very much written by the people. And to me, there's the idea that the Bible is the Word of God, written by God. And generally, I see it more as the inspired Word. That it was written by man, but with inspiration taken from their own prayers, their own journey. And nowhere I find Lamentations and Psalms, I think, are the two areas where I find that most prominent. That these are people writing their heart and soul out. We see this many times when we look at music that people have written, songs that people have written. I don't know how many of you, it came out last year, but there is the movie I Can Only Imagine, which tells the story about the writing of that same titled song. And there are songs that are so personal that you might think, well, no one else can get anything out of this song except me when you're writing a song. The same can be said with things like poetry, almost any form of literature, almost any form of art has kind of that dimension where the writer, the artist, the painter, what have you, puts their heart and soul into their work, into whatever artistic expression they are involved with. And then, because it's so personal to them, there's the idea, well, how can anyone else possibly relate? But then it transcends just the artist. There's something so deeply human, so core to our being, that it resonates with many, many more people than just the artist. This is when we watch horror movies. There are some horror movies which are just stupid popcorn flicks that have ignored all indications of being good horror movies. But then there are others. And there are several instances where, in horror books, horror movies, what have you, where the writer, director, what have you, has poured their own personal fears and anxieties into the project. And you wonder, well, how can that resonate with anyone else? But their fears are so core to part of our existence, we experience that fear along with them. And a lot of times, it's so deep a part of the human condition that we don't even really have to see what scares us to be afraid of it. If you ever watch, classic horror movies, Psycho. A lot of Hitchcock's horror is based on the idea that what you don't see, what your mind has to fill in the blanks to, is infinitely more terrifying than what he can put up on the silver screen. And you see, like the movie Psycho, you never see the knife actually hit the woman in the shower, but your brain fills in the blank. The movie Jaws is another great example, where originally Steven Spielberg wanted to have a lot of scenes with this giant shark, and only got a couple because the animatronics malfunctioned and the shark didn't work as intended. But then in later Jaws movies, when you actually do get to see the shark, especially a bizarre attempt, and I think it was Jaws 4, or Jaws the Revenge, or Jaws 6000, it's almost laughable. It's B-movie grade kind of horror. But that first Jaws movie, it's not the shark that's terrifying. It's the fin. It's the yellow barrels floating on the water chasing the boat around. It's the idea of the shark. Because that speaks to our survival instincts. That speaks to our fear of being prey to some apex predator in the world. And that is something deeply human. It transcends just being the shark. Yes, Jaws is just about a shark that's attacking this poor small village ruled by a mayor who sees dollar signs before he sees human life. But that instinct of survival, that's inside us. And so that's why that movie, that should have just been a popcorn flick, transcends and becomes a part. It's a part of the cultural lexicon now, but it's part now of our human condition. The Psalms do the same thing. Maybe not with, terror so much, but our own relationships. Several of the Psalms written by King David take place after his infidelity with Bathsheba. And it is David grappling with his guilt, begging God to take him back, begging God to forgive him. Now, I would say the vast majority of us have not engaged in extramarital affairs. That's not a situation that I'm sure many of us can relate to. But that fear of having done something horrible in our life and then trying to grapple with forgiveness, that fear, that anxiety is a part of our existence. We understand that. So those Psalms speak to us. We experience those emotions in the Psalms because they speak to us at a different level. It's not just us putting ourselves in the character's shoes. We're not saying this is how David felt because we know how it feels to have an extramarital affair with a woman whose husband works for us, and then to cover it up, we kill the husband. I don't think any of us watching this, at least I hope none of us watching this, have killed someone to cover up an extramarital affair. But again, we have that knowledge that we've done terrible things in our life. We have done things that have hurt others. And so those Psalms speak to us. And like Adam Hamilton says, the Psalms cover a wide range of emotions, from fear to anger to resentment to love to joy. And they're a very human part of the Bible. And I like his analogy. I learned that in Sunday school, that if you ever want to find the book of Psalms, you just open up to the middle. That was good old, believe it or not, it wasn't my father who taught me that trick. It was Dean and Elaine Boley out at Kingsley and teaching my Sunday school when I was there. You just open to the middle of the Bible, and there's the book of Psalms. And I do like it that it puts the Psalms kind of in the center of our relationship with God, because each of us has a unique relationship with God, but each of us has that same kind of journey. Each of us, I know, have probably grappled with God at times. Each of us have been thankful for God's presence. Each of us have wished that God would not be so all-knowing. Each of us have asked him for forgiveness. Each of us have been angry. Each of us have come to him for help. And the Psalms contain all of that in the middle of the Bible. So I do like the analogy that if the Bible is a book meant to foster our relationship with God, then the Psalms should definitely be near its center. I'm going to leave you now with the prayer that Adam Hamilton suggests. Again, these are from Psalms 56 and 59. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you, in God, whose word I praise. In God I trust, and am not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? But I will sing of your strength. In the morning I will sing of your love, for you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Enjoy the warmness that tomorrow will bring, back when we're considering 60s warm. So enjoy your good day. Just a reminder that we will be having that Bible study starting during Lent. The 1st of December will be the first day. One class will meet Tuesday nights at 7:30. Another class will meet Thursday night, or 7, 7. One class will meet Tuesday nights at 7. Another class will meet Thursday nights at 7. And I will be passing out, I'll have a sign-up sheet in the bulletins either this week or next week for choosing which day you want to be in and writing down your email so that I can send out the Zoom links and whatnot. And I am also going to be posting a link on my Facebook and my YouTube pages, for those of you watching it right now, to sign up for that class. I see no reason why it should not be open to members outside the churches. I'm a realist, so I don't think anyone from outside my 4 churches will want to join. They'll have their own Bible studies to attend. But if they are willing, I am not going to slam the door in anyone's face. So if someone from, clear across the country wants to join in and is willing to meet with us during those times, I have no objection to hosting people from outside the church. There's no doctrinal reason why we can't do that. There's not going to be any... I can't think of the word now. Sacraments. There we go. There's not going to be sacraments during this time, so I don't have to worry about any Book of Discipline issues popping up. But so that will be taking place. The first one will be December 1st, which is the first Tuesday of Advent. I think I called it Lent earlier in this thing. It's Advent. Advent. So, but I'm glad to be live when I'm supposed to be on the scheduled time again. And I hope you all have a good day. And we will see you all later. Take care.